Your life was never meant to be a conference call. This is really important because when you start oversharing with people, and I mean full on telling them all your business, telling them things you're working on, all of that stuff, you open up the door for them to say, oh, well, obviously I got to be in their business, basically. Right? But you have to realize your life is not meant to be a conference call. So when everybody else goes, you need to do this, you should do this. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't these things happening? I want you to, now, granted, by the way, sometimes people are just going to do that. I don't care what you do. That's just, they feel this weird entitlement to do that in the first place. But what will help you sort of curb that and start to kind of address what those boundaries are is to not overshare to the point of where you're like, well, what do you think of this? I mean, I'm not asking if you're like, what do you think of my hair? Do you like the shirt? Do you not like the shirt? But not because you're going to take their, whatever they're saying as the gospel. It can't be that. It can't be that. So you have to get very clear in that aspect of it, because if you're not clear in that aspect of it, you're going to keep oversharing, and then you're going to get upset with the people because you're like, why are they always in my business? You put them there. A lot of times you put them there. Now, sometimes, like I said, sometimes people just been there from the door. That's why your boundaries are going to be important. But you got to stop oversharing. You've heard me say this before. Everybody does not need to know everything. They should not know everything you're working on. They should not know everything that you're doing, everything you're feeling. No, they should not. And so this goes into the self-trust. But see, self-trust is going to come from doing the things and allowing yourself to fail and fall often. Baby, you got to fall, and you got to fall hard at times. How else are you going to learn? You succeed or you learn. I mean, that's just life 101. So that's what I want you to really start focusing on, is when you look around and you go, oh my God, why are all these people in my space? Like, why are all these people in my business? Don't blame yourself. Don't be like, well, is it my fault? No, it's not about fault here. It's about just checking yourself and saying, ooh, okay, so I gotta close the door a little bit and let them get upset and frustrated, because they'll be like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, you tell me everything else. Why didn't you tell me that? Now they start with the selectiveness, and it's going to become so problematic for you. But you can prevent that by having your boundaries. You know, if somebody goes, well, I think you should do this. Now, mind you, unsolicitedly, you go, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your feedback. That's it. You don't have to listen to them, because sometimes when people say, this is what I think you should do, it's coming from a place of do it because I'm telling you to do it, not do it because I'm trying to help you. See, it's different, right? Like if somebody's coming to me and they're asking me for guidance, I'm going to give you guidance from a place of love. If you take the guidance, cool. If you don't take the guidance, that's fine too. Unless you're using my help, then that's a whole other problem for you, right? And so this is what I'm saying is like, you have to get clear in it. So I want you to ask yourself kind of, when you're oversharing, what is your strategy? What is your intent with your oversharing? Are you looking for them to approve you? Now go deeper with that and say why, because they don't owe you to improve. And first of all, don't give somebody that much power. You got to stop giving people this power of like, I have a value. Like, not everybody's opinion needs to hold value. And even if they do hold value, doesn't mean that you have to change who you are for those people. This is important. It's something that you've got to get clear in, because if you don't, you're going to keep getting disappointed. You're going to keep feeling some kind of way, and then you're going to be mad at the person, but then you don't want to hear it, right? Because this is what people do. They'll be like, oh my God, it's just so much easier if I just don't deal with it. Let me just tell them so they can shut up. It's a tactic. They know that. They know that they can wear you down. That's why let them talk to a blank space. Hey, I'm not going to continue this conversation with you. I don't allow myself to go into conversations like this. Hang up the phone, walk away. It's got to be something like that. Okay? Because if you're not doing that, it's going to become problematic for you, because then you're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to think too many people are meddling into your business, but yet very often you've put them there inadvertently. And that's why you got to watch with what you're sharing. Everybody doesn't need to know everything. If they get upset, let them get upset, and they will get upset. Let me be the first to tell you, they will. The first time you start establishing boundaries and not sharing everything, oh, it's going to be a thing. Only if you let it be. Because again, it takes two people to argue. It takes two people to continue a conversation. Blank space, right? And so when you are very clear that it's not about them helping you make a decision, very often you're listening to what that decision is, and then you're just taking it as gospel. And we can't do that, right? So this is the part that she goes inward and introspectively says, why am I so seeking others? That's not even really approval. It's kind of approval, but it's like, tell me what to do so I don't have to make a decision. Because in your mind, it's easier to be like, well, they told me to do this. Oh, well, it didn't work out. I did what they told me to. I'm out of it. It's like you're afraid to take accountability for yourself. But until you can start taking accountability for yourself, guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep blaming everybody else because you got to own your stuff and make the decision. So what if it doesn't work? So it doesn't work. What if this doesn't work out? Okay, it doesn't work out. Then what? All good. All good. So you have to allow yourself to be in that space of acceptance, because when you can accept it, now we're on a whole different level. So I want you to be clear in that, because I need you to go really deep with the reason that you feel that you need to overshare to make people comfortable. Because sometimes people are going to be like, oh, I don't understand. Why are you doing that? Like, they're not even asking because they're curious. Like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know that I would have done that. What's your thought process? Different. That's productive. That's productive questioning. Not, oh my God, that's terrible. Why would you do that? Now you go, oh God, is there something wrong with me? Ain't nothing wrong with you. It's just that you're doing something different than what somebody else wants you to do. So when you're doing something that goes against somebody's comfort level and they're not in a good headspace for themselves, then they're going to lash out at you, because it kind of they don't know how to respond to it. So they're like, oh God, I don't like this. I don't know how am I supposed to respond to this? So these are all important things for you to realize, that when somebody is projecting like that, and it could be you, when somebody's projecting like that, you got to get very, very clear, and you got to say, this is about them. This is not about me. Don't judge them, but it's about them, not you. So, but get clear, go real deep and say, why do I need this person to like my hair? Why do I need this person to like my outfit? Why do I need this person to like my job choice? Why do I need this person to like my partner? Why? Go deep there. That's how we start getting introspective. You know how I'm always saying go introspective? This is how you do it. This is some introspective work right here. And it's up to you to do it. Because if not, you're going to keep and then you know what will happen too, is you'll be like, well, they don't share like anything with me. Now you get your feelings hurt. But realistically, they're protecting their peace. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily a one-sided relationship. It's just, it is, but it's not intentional. One has boundaries, one doesn't. And remember, you can't just say what you do and don't want, because a boundary must carry a consequence, or it's never a boundary in the first place. That's imperative for you. So you got to be really crystal clear that people are going to get their feelings hurt. Let them. People are going to like it. Let them. It does not matter. And the fact that you think it matters lets me know that you still have this unhealed wound that needs to be addressed. So I want you to get into what that wound is. Now, it's much easier to start than you think it is. It's much easier to know where to begin than you think it is. But we have to know the beast that we're dealing with. So you can't fix something that you're not aware of. Just because you don't like a feeling, that doesn't mean anything to me. The feeling doesn't matter to me. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that that's like it. That's the symptom of a deeper root. So then you go back to the deeper root. See, that's where the work starts. And what does that mean? A lot of introspection, a lot of ownership. Not, well, I wish that. The moment you say, I wish then very often you're in this struggle with acceptance of who the person is or what the situation is. I wish that, just check yourself right there from the door. The moment you say, I wish, check yourself there at the door. It's going to be very important for you, because if not, like I said, you're going to feel like it's one-sided. You're going to start carrying expectations. You're going to feel a little entitled yourself. It comes with a plethora of things. And you can prevent all of that from not oversharing. Wait until it's time to tell somebody. Don't tell somebody an idea. Don't tell somebody the newness that you're working on. Wait until you have something in the works and you are ready to make it happen. And don't share with their approval. Share, this is how it is. Like, this is what I'm doing. They don't have to like it. They don't have to love it. You have got to be okay with being the villain. You've got to be okay with somebody being disappointed. You've got to be okay with somebody saying to everybody else, let them. It does not matter. Does not matter. What matters is that you're solid with yourself. As long as you're solid with yourself, everybody else can kind of fall in line. Fall in accordingly or not. But it's going to start with you not oversharing. And to go deeper with that is ask yourself, what is the context behind why you're oversharing? Is it because you want somebody to tell you what to do? That's a whole different problem. Then you're just afraid of just making a mistake, and that's already a different problem. But get clear on your why, so then we can get to the root of addressing it. But you can't address it until you know what it is, and you can't know what it is until you go deep, because it isn't this person and this person and this person. It's this person. So start there and we'll build on that accordingly.